Hey guys! It's the after party and Adrian and we're all dancing now it seems. Come on Margaret, let's go.
We lit, y'all. We lit.
That's it. That's how I'm concerned.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so yeah. We're carrying over the chaos from the happy hour provided mostly by Adrian. What was that laugh?
I don't know what you're talking about. What laugh?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, welcome guys to a little after party. Yeah. I guess we can start by maybe turning the background music down a little bit. Or do we turn it up?
No,
I'm so tempted to remove you, Adrian. I am so tempted.
Oh
You invited me. This is your fault.
Yes, it is. Okie dokie. So I guess we can start off by just going around and we can introduce ourselves and say what we did or what we are about to do in every conference. Hey, you're distracting me. I can't.
What is English? Amy doesn't know.
Sozzled. Oh, that's a good word.
All right. Oh yes, sozzled. Nice. So let's go around. Let's start. Who wants to go first? Does anybody want to go first, or does someone want to be voluntold?
I'll go first.
All right, Margaret.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Six Cats Press. Let's get lit and say, let's get loud and start this off. I'm Margaret Pinard. I'm a historical fiction and fantasy writer here on AuthorTube, BookTube for 3 years. And I've got 6 books. So if you're interested in the history of the underdogs, and especially Scottish ones in the UK and Canada, and there's a lot of Canadian flavor in this conference, so I'm hoping we have some interested readers. Shuffle on off to my channel and my draft to digital page and check them out. But for now, I'm just reading books and reviewing them and hosting authors and helping with the conference. And not drinking whatever Adrian's drinking.
But you wish you were.
Not really. Adrian,
Honestly,
ahead.
we cannot attribute all of this to the alcohol. Honestly, this is mostly just my own messed up personality. But if anyone's interesting, it's Jam Jar. It's delicious. It tastes
I'm
like
sure it's been a long week.
berries and raspberries.
We are not sponsored by Jam Jar.
Not at all. It's just good stuff. It's empty. Look at how good it is. It's empty. Yeah.
Oh, we got someone else coming in now. Laura's here to join the party.
Outside, and he would not be rushed.
That's fair.
The dragon is your dog. I thought you were doing a funny innuendo thing. I really messed that up for everybody in the private chat. My bad.
Oh, all right, so Margaret voluntold Adrian to share stuff about him, I guess. So go on, Adrian.
Okay, stuff about me. I'm Adrian. I run an online author platform called Books by Adrian. These are some books by Adrian. This is Mythic Shadow of the Spark. It is a sci-fi fantasy novel with a murder mystery subplot, and I'm a little tipsy, so I don't know what I'm saying. This here is the prequel. It is a short story lead into the main novel, The Death and Rebirth of Bella Erdman. This is the new cover. You guys are seeing it for the first time. It's really pretty. I made it myself. It's really nice. And we're also on ebooks. So, do the thing. If you like ebooks, if you like paperbacks, I have signed copies at my Ko-fi. Just go over to my channel, Books by Adrian, real simple to find, and click on the Ko-fi thing. It's right there. Just click it.
Nice. I hope you guys were not too distracted by dog content below me. We love dog content, Laura. Aw, what a sweetie.
Hey, Richard's here.
We didn't even summon him. He just came.
Followed us like a dark shadow.
Nicole, would you like to introduce yourself next to this lovely audience?
Absolutely. I'm Nicole Wilbur. I've also been on AuthorTube for about 3 years now. I did a presentation yesterday about AI and using AI to enhance creativity, plus like a little bit of sort of what it is and some of the limitations and risks and that kind of thing. So you can go into giving lots of like tips and trying to study other stories, like learn from them and sharing those kinds of lessons. I'm a YA writer, not yet published, but we're getting there.
And getting there is great. It's you're gonna be so excited when you're gonna get published properly. Why am I doing this? This is just me believing in you.
The friendship book or whatever.
All right, Laura.
I don't know if I believe Richard. I think they might actually be an AI, but that's just me. I am Laura Nettles. I mostly write horror. I have 30 stories published in anthologies and magazines and stuff, and I have collected 101 into my Tiny Shivers collection. So that's what this bad boy is.
I got a copy.
I mostly write horror. I am dabbling in other things. I am currently drafting a paranormal romance trilogy with vampires. My first draft was more erotica, so I'm trying to scale it back down to romance. This is so hard. Like, how do you do this, people?
It is though, isn't it? Like, how do you write a story without like a sex scene every chapter? How do people do it?
Seriously.
They do it because they're asexual prudes like me.
Oh, what a horrible existence.
I'm super demi, but still, like, I don't know.
I want a sex scene in every chapter. I can't have it, but I want it.
So yeah, it's like it's just so complicated. So I'm working on a redraft. It is much better. Like the characters are more fleshed out and consistent. So I have so much going on in that story. But yeah,
but do they do it though? Do they do it though?
Yes. Yes. So, I also have like a sci-fi duology that I am attempting to do. So, I was trying to do it a couple years ago for a nano. Got 22K into it, realized an exceedingly awesome twist. It's like, okay, I gotta redraft this. And so I started redrafting it, and I got to the super intense assassination sequence. And I literally wrote, pew, pew, pew. All three fell down. And realized I need to put a pin in this and come back to it when I'm leveled up.
Yeah, the pew, pew, pew is a bad sign. But so far, you had me going.
Like,
I was in.
There's a rogue group in the Kuiper belt of the solar system. There's an oligarchy controlling the solar system with these stargates that Lovecraftian gods will breathe through.
Stop, say no more. I'm in already. Stop selling.
The blind oracle priestesses will be able to interpret it, and they get their first vision tattooed on their back. It's pretty darn cool. There are all these sigils that I designed for the backs of people's hands to represent their past and their future. So there's this whole religion thing going on, and there's brainwashing and dog fights, not like spaceship fights.
This sounds like something I would write.
Like, it's so cool. And then I'm literally writing pew, pew, pew. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Santiago has just found his new best friend.
Alpha reader, right here.
Okay.
Gosh, with all that, I feel dwarfed having to introduce myself now for those who may not know me. Yes, I exist. I'm not just some ghost. I am Amy Rosenfeld. I did a presentation a couple hours ago on marketing video. I have a background in marketing and digital communications, and I am a major fantasy fanatic in many different forms. I am not an AI construct, Richard Holiday, although back when I was a teenager, I used to tell everybody that I was an android. But I do have, this is my book, baby, ASTER'S CODA Exposure. First book in a 5-part series. What? Adrian?
No, you just broke my brain because when I was in school, like grade school, like I was in the 2nd grade, me and my best friend had our own like headcanon going on where we had cyborg clones, and we would like be in class at school, and one of us would be like, I need to go to the bathroom. We would leave to the bathroom, and when we came back, we would both know that it was the android that came back. It was the cyborg. It wasn't really us. So then like he would go to the bathroom, he would come back, and then we would be like 2 robots in the class while like the real us were having adventures out in the real world.
Well, that puts mine to shame. We had like a sand pit in elementary school, and we would take sticks. Well, I would take sticks. My friends would like, you're weird. But I would take sticks. And we would be under the sand, and I called them germ worms, and they would suck the people under the sand and eat them. It was really fun.
I think it was more of a historical fiction play pretend. I like
Either
wanted to
way.
just the pioneer constantly
Well done.
and pretends.
I was also the weirdo with my friend. We would sit in one of the sheds that they had all the equipment in, and we would read Harry Potter. So,
Nice.
fun times.
Kids are weird.
Okay, Vixen of Fiction is asking, oh my God, Adrian, can you write that? Write what?
The android.
The android thing? Read my book. Epilogue. What's up, yo?
They were a
It's always
cyborg the whole
Bella
time.
was a cyborg?
Just read the book. Get to the epilogue. There's a cyborg thing.
Oh,
Are your books
Spoilers.
Adrian?
Jeez.
Are your books in libraries?
I was rejected by my own local library because they said I wasn't marketable enough yet. Yet
What?
being the keyword. But joke's on them because I went and I signed up for this thing online where they get you into libraries nationwide. So I'm gonna get in there, and then I'm gonna show up and be like, "Ha! There it is
In your catalog.
in your catalog."
Yep.
Facial LaFleur, total facial. I should leave. I don't know why I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Don't leave. Please. Chaos reigns.
I do it better than Richard, don't I? It's more fun.
I haven't been on a live stream with Richard, so I wouldn't.
He's
No.
really actually a hoot. I like busting his balls, but he's a lot of fun to have around.
assimilate me. Oh,
Look, he just wrote it in there. Android romance. You make my floppy disk a hard drive.
oh
Like,
my
only Richard. Hey. I like it. What are we doing here? What are we talking about? Let's talk about something.
Yeah, the AuthorTube writing conference that is happening right now.
Yes. Well, it's ending right now, isn't it? The second night.
Yeah, I'm one of the many life forms closing out the second life. Well, we are, I should say. I don't mean to exclude my 4 guests.
No.
from
Now I
this
find it
conversation.
suspicious that you had to single yourself out as a life form. Where are you from, Amy? Are you an alien? Because we just had a report a couple days ago by a whistleblower about aliens.
Was that in Vegas?
Was it? Yeah, it was in Vegas.
Yeah, the UFO
I live
sighting in
so far
Vegas.
away from Vegas.
That's
I
just
live
what
like-
an alien would say.
It even reached the news in Canada up here.
I'm from
Well, it hasn't
Buffalo.
reached
I'm
the news
practically
here.
a Canadian. We have Tim Hortons in Buffalo.
Heck yeah! I have
That's what's
4
up.
within walking distance of my apartment.
Girl, listen to me. I go like out of my way to the other side of town to the grocery store that carries Tim Hortons Keurig cups, just so I can have my Timmy Hose at home. I know the rest of y'all don't understand what we're talking about, but Tim Hortons is church. You understand me?
I might have
Margaret-
a box of Timbits over there.
Margaret, weren't you
Frustrated with me,
saying
I'm
that this is a
sorry.
very Canadian stream right now?
There's a lot of Canadian flavor in the whole conference. And I wanted to ask Nicole where you're from because I was like, I know all these people and where they are. Laura's actually Californian but living in Canada. So Nicole, where
Yeah, I'm Canadian. So I'm from like Toronto, Greater Toronto area. Yeah.
I'm downtown Toronto.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Take
Yeah,
it
I'm
over.
from Mississauga, which is like 15, 20 minutes outside. Yeah.
Wow.
I've been accused of being Canadian.
Accused?
It's because my accent. It's my accent. I've been born and raised in New Zealand, and I don't have a New Zealand accent.
As an honorary Canadian, being a Buffalonian, no. Sorry, no. Rejected.
See, my mother's Canadian, and so I grew up hearing my grandma saying "a" all the time, and so I picked it up.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's great fun. But my mother would make us Nanaimo bars and things like that, so it's like Canadian cuisine. So
Very
good.
classic.
Wait, what accent do you think I have? Because I see Easy Graphics mistaking me for an Australian. So what accent do you guys think I have?
Oh, Elaine said she could hear the NZ in your accent immediately.
Oh, thank you, Elaine. Oh, my identity's been reassured.
I introduced myself first, so for anyone who didn't catch it, you can go back and replay if you like. And I want to answer Richard's question, is there an Old Zealand? There is. It's Zeeland. It's in the Netherlands, I believe. So you can take it up with Estelle van de Velde when she gives her talk tomorrow. Ask her in her chat.
Nice.
What are you talking about? Is that real?
Yeah, it's called colonizing.
Americans know about that.
Yeah.
Know all about that.
Yeah.
So I'm in Gainesville these days, Gainesville, Florida. I'm a Floridian. But yeah, exactly. Go Gators. Thank you, Margaret. You and me are at here. I always knew.
Gosh. Now everyone's saying I'm Australian. I could try my Australian accent if you guys want. Just talk the rest of the stream as an Australian. Really make people confused about where I am.
Okay, I can kind of hear it there.
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah,
funny
on the
is
Bobby.
me being originally from Buffalo, and then spending so much time down in Florida. When I go up north, they say they can hear my southern accent, and when I'm in the south, they say they can hear my northern accent, my New York accent. It's weird.
Nice.
I don't hear any.
I think I just sound American.
I get told all the time that I don't. It doesn't sound like I have a Canadian accent. They're always like, "You don't say a boo." I'm like, nobody says that. Unless they're on the East Coast.
Some people do. Some people do at the conference.
Yeah.
People say it. I've heard it. But I'll tell you this. I was in Canada once over Christmas, and it was Christmas morning. So there was nobody on the roads. Okay.
Yeah.
I went out to get some Timmy Hoes. You know how it is. So I went out to get breakfast and bring it back for everybody. And on my way back, I'm stopped at a red light, right? And the red light turns green. And I'm about to go, but something like inside me was like, wait, stop, look around. It was the first snow of the season. So, you know, the roads were icy. People weren't used to driving on them. I look over and here comes this car in the other lane, right? In the other road. And it's going to cross the intersection. And it is going full speed. But I look at his tires and they're not turning. He's got his brakes on and he's not slowing down. So I just stay where I'm at and I wait for this dude to go through the intersection. And as his car is spinning through the intersection, he and I make eye contact and he takes a sip of his coffee.
This is a commercial. You're narrating a commercial.
He straightens right out and keeps on going. Not even like a cup with like a lid, a mug. The dude was like it was no big deal. That's Canada. What's up?
I've seen crazy stuff. We had an ice storm. We have ice storms sometimes, and one of them there was like a hill, and we were driving up the hill. But the people driving down the hill, they were like all stopped. They were just all sliding down this hill one night, like all the cars. It was very scary, actually. Or like
That
people
sounds
had
terrifying. I
Yeah.
want no part of that.
a dozen cars stuck on this hill going down. It was a crazy time.
That sounds like
And we're
horror.
usually pretty good with our roads too,
Yeah.
with the infrastructure.
I feel
Was it-
guilty about being freaked out last night when I was driving through rain.
My face
Oh, I
is
know.
numb. Is that normal?
Probably
Yeah.
not.
We're all as Amy. No shame in where you are.
Was it Chicago that had that ice storm last year where people were like shimmering down the sidewalks and the cars were just sliding down the streets?
I don't know.
It was
We
quite
definitely have to do
entertaining.
that in Portland.
Maybe it was
Oh
Portland.
gosh.
There's some funny footage in Portland, and not good, but not good funny.
Wow. Should we really be
first-
talking about weather right now? I don't know.
I don't know.
This
The
feels
first
like
story
generic.
ever got published was for a winter weather horror anthology.
Nice.
Yeah, mine was Jack Frost snaps. Goes off the deep end, takes humanity with them. Well, it tries.
Nice.
Fun times.
I should read more horror. It sounds fun.
It is.
Margaret's like, no.
You want to read my dream journal already?
Jesus.
I've never. I don't think I've read horror. I was forced to watch a lot of like horror movies, but like I've never read horror, so I'm wondering if that's different. How different is reading horror versus watching
Good
horror?
question. Because I don't
can't
watch horror
really
either.
do a jump scare with prose because there's no audio to pull out and blast back in.
But you
So-
can apparently with manga because you did, right?
So
That's
it's
the page turn. The page
the page.
the doubles page spread. Oh my gosh, made me jump in my seat.
So it's harder to be scarier in prose because you don't have the element of surprise.
It's just a different flavor of horror. So
Right.
it's not the cheap jump scares that do the whole audio cues. It's not the something's gonna be behind the door because we're looking this way, and then we look back and then it's there. So like we can't do the visual cues and the audio cues. So it's a lot more building up of the atmosphere through descriptive prose, a lot more of building of dread, and there's like you still get the classic horror endings where like they die or they become the evil or they take others down with them for the evil. Like there's a bunch of different classic horror endings that you can do, and I find that horror lends itself really well to having dramatic endings where like the change happens and the evil is confronted and something has to go down and something has to change.
Is there a rule for horror endings, like for romances, where it has to be a happy ending? Does someone have to die at the end of horror?
No, but there are classic horror endings. Let me get my writing craft book. I'll read them to you.
I'm fascinated. I'm in. I don't know about you guys. I'm sucked in right now.
So am I.
Which
I mean, not as sucked in as you are. Maybe if I'm more like this, then I'm more sucked in. Oh, sunlight exists now.
Not for me.
close, I can only whisper because then it's too loud for your ears.
So this is Writing in the Dark by Tim Wagner. He is amazing.
Dope.
So he's written a ton of stuff, including supernatural tie-ins, like the TV show Supernatural. He's written some of those novelizations.
Oh, nice.
My
sister's department.
There are supernatural novelizations.
There are Doctor Who ones as well.
I knew about the Doctor Who ones. I didn't know about the supernatural ones.
Oh, yeah.
That show isn't long enough. You guys still need more content? Jesus.
That's how I feel about Star Wars.
Oh, shots fired. Pew, 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 pew.
That's good.
Okay, here are the classic endings.
Hit us with it.
So he uses a little bit of crap, like a little racy. Like, so the poor bastard escapes hell. The poor bastard conquers hell. The poor bastard is eternally damned. The poor bastard escapes with severe wounds and scars. The poor bastard is transformed by hell. The poor bastard carries hell with them. The poor bastard drags others down to hell with them, or brings hell to them. And the poor bastard becomes the devil. So those are the classic horror endings.
Laura, did you watch the Netflix series that was about the God of Dreams? I can't remember.
Sandman! Yes!
Yeah. Did you watch that?
Yes, I
What was
did.
the ending? Can you put the ending in like literary terms for us? Because I can't remember.
I need to watch it again. It's not done yet. Like, that was just season 1.
Oh, okay.
And then I got confused with the last episode because it was like bonus stories. I was like,
It was a bonus episode. All right, I'm gonna jump in. I'm just gonna jump in. All right, look,
Yeah,
Sandman
go for it.
is freaking awesome. I'm a Neil Gaiman huge super fan. Okay, Sandman is his magnum opus. It is
So good.
a long run, like 75 issue comic book run, right? You can get him in like 11 volumes of graphic novels. He's got Shakespeare in there. He's got horror in there. He's got romance. He's got comedy. It's insane, like the eclecticness of these stories, right? And now that it's being adapted for TV, they are consolidating these stories still within the structure of the graphic novels, though. Like, they're not going out of order or anything like that, but they're restructuring them for the visual storytelling, right? So it's a little different. Because of that, standalone stories like the Cats, for example, are treated as a bonus episode in those seasons, because they just don't quite fit in the ongoing storytelling narrative. But they're still a part of the world. They're still a part of the history, the mythology, the world building. So they get in there. They just kind of stand alone on their own. But that being said, yes, that was just season 1. Sandman has way more to come. Sandman is freaking awesome. If you have not read any Sandman, fix it. Read some. It's awesome.
I watched it. The writers are on strike. Why would I watch it now? Or read it?
No. There's graphic novels. Just go to the graphic novels. You don't gotta wait for them
Where is
to
my
get their
graphic-
nonsense together. You can just read the graphic novels.
I have the leather-bound first volume of the graphic novel, the omnibus thing.
Leather
My-
bound.
My friend had the 4 like the big like premiere editions, the big ones that look like giant Bibles, and he had
Yeah.
them on podiums in the 4 corners of his apartment. Like,
Oh,
you would go to the
Lord.
4 corners and you had a different volume of Sandman. You could flip through it. And for those of you who don't know and don't understand why I'm freaking out right now, Sandman is all about the world of dreams and the world of reality, how they're tied together, and the entity that is the realm of dreams, this being known as Morpheus. He's one of the endless. He's not even a god, he's beyond gods, and he's one of a family of beyond gods. And it's all about how, like, humans, right, like, dream. He only exists because we exist, but he rules that realm, and so we're always like in constant opposition, but also like tied together tangentially forever. And like, Shakespeare couldn't write without him, and all kinds of crazy stuff. It's awesome. Like, just go read it. It's really good.
Be right back, adding that to my story graph.
Please do.
It's
I
so
love
good.
the in where he was meeting someone after so many years. And
Mhm.
yeah, that was
Yes.
Yes. So that one is there's a being who was like, this person was like, I don't want to die ever. And Dream was on like holiday basically with his sister Death. And they were like looking at this dude who's like, look at this schmuck talking about how he wants to live forever. If they lived forever, it would be madness. It would be insanity. So they make a deal with the guy. Morpheus makes a deal with the guy. And he's like, every 100 years, we'll meet back here and we'll talk about your experiences. And you just will never die. My sister is not going to take you until you decide that you want her to take you. So he lives hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And he sees civilization like progress and regress and restart and advance incredibly. And it's bananas how like every 100 years they meet and they have a conversation about what humanity is all about. Like, what?
Yes, Joe, Death is a woman, and she is amazing.
Yes.
I love her character.
She's always been a woman in the Sandman universe. She's also a shapeshifter. She appears as whatever is more comfortable to you. So a lot of folks had a lot of problems with a black actress being cast in the role in the show. And to you, I say, get over it. Get over it.
Get over
She's a
it.
shapeshifter.
She was
She's
so
black
good.
now. Get over it.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
The Sandman was an
This is
interesting
empty.
show because some of the episodes were like straight up horror.
Yes.
The diner
And some of the
one,
issues are too. Yeah, absolutely.
the diner one and the convention one, and so it's a very interesting mixing of fantasy and beautiful, awesome world building, and then
Yes.
just pared down one location horror stories.
It's a genre bender, which is
So,
what Daddy likes. I'm
it's
Daddy,
really
in case you don't know. So it's a genre bender. That's what I like.
Mhm.
It's the best.
Very cool.
So speaking of dreams, how do you guys dream? Like, mine are all funky. Like, my nightmares are black and white or black, white, and red. They have soundtracks, and sometimes they're in illustration styles.
Wow. That reminds me of Spider-Man.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. That's interesting.
And
Now,
Larry, have you ever used any of your dreams in stories? That's my
Yes.
tag-on question.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I have.
Yeah.
I've also used mushroom
me
tricks
too.
in my story, but that's me.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think-
you can read all about it in this one.
Imagine that.
Weird.
I think it was book 4 of my series I have planned. Look at me, already talking about book 4, and book 2 isn't even out yet. There was a dream sequence that I've got, which is going to be like, I guess for the purposes, like, to understand it in terms of the series, like a mini boss, like to compare it to video game stuff. I dreamt of a mini boss sequence, which is, basically an evil mermaid, but I'm, 3 worlds-ifying it. I am ASTER'S codifying it. So, yeah. Bit of a spoiler. My girl Abby, she's going to face an evil mermaid in book 4, along with everything else that is wrecking her existence,
As it does.
as it does.
It's
Yeah.
So,
You put a dream into a story. Like, I've had ideas. There's a couple of scenes that I have, but I've never been able to like actually take them from like my dream to paper.
For me, it's because my dreams are largely mundane. Like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, like,
I don't.
last night I had a dream about the AuthorTube writing conference.
That's so cool. I mean, it's probably a stress dream, so maybe you just want to like leave it behind.
It
But
wasn't
that's
really. It was
cool.
just something like very systematic. It was like probably like one of the more vivid dreams I've had, like at least when I woke up, like remembering it, because it was like very systematic. It was like me going through my own presentation, and then I hopped on to Shannon's channel for the happy hour, and then it was me getting ready for the after party, and then my alarm went off.
Are you still in the dream? Like, you never know.
Oh no,
I'm
I'm running in place, and I'm going nowhere.
I don't know why this is your interpretation of dreams. Like,
Gravity
this is more like, anti-gravity. I'm in the International Space Station or something. I
I'm
don't know
thinking about dreams in terms of my book, the way that my character starts her dreams,
They
because
just-
of course I had to include dreams in my book.
Do they float around in the dreams? Do they do
Or
this?
slow motion.
I think it was more slow motion I was going for, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
Also, this is how my character walks.
I don't.
It is.
I don't dream so much these days. It's part of being a stoner. Stoners don't really dream too much, but when I have dry spells in between, I do dream, and I dream very vividly. And for the most part, they're very like cinematic.
Cinematic.
Thank you. Cinematic. They are very cinematic in the way that they're presented in my brain. And I think that's why I write the way that I do. Like, I just picture it like a movie, and I try to make the prose the camera, So like, that's how my dreams work. So that's how my writing works. It's interesting how those two are tied together.
Funny story.
Hit me.
One time, I had the same dream 3 nights in a row.
Oh, I got a
different
story about that too, but
perspectives.
go ahead.
The first night, I was Batman. The second night, I was Robin. The third night, I was the camera watching it go down. And it was the same exact plot all 3
That's
times.
what's up. You are my new favorite person.
Like,
Okay.
I am hardly ever me in my dreams. I am Batman. I am Harry Potter. I am Loki. Okay, when I was Loki, I had a plan to take over the world using mayonnaise, and I knew it was going to work. And then I woke up, and I
Sounds
couldn't.
foolproof.
I never knew what the plan with the mayonnaise was, and I'm so sad.
You just gotta write it now. You just gotta fathom some way that mayonnaise will take over the world.
I had
That's
a
hilarious.
prophetic dream once.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's so
It
cool.
was back when I had my cat Maxie before she died late last year. Yes, it was not a cat. I dreamt that she was in my back garden and she was playing around with a rat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wake up the next day and around might have been midday, I saw her out there and she was playing with a rat. Less aggressively than she did in the previous dream, but she wasn't there. And I was like, oh God, don't bring it inside like you did with the previous dream, and don't make me have to clean up the rat and then for some reason find a rat skull in the garbage disposal.
Wow.
Fun.
That didn't happen, thankfully. All that happened was just her playing with the rat.
You know what's really funny is that just then I was thinking about how Margaret is probably meant to be here to like keep the ship on course, talking about AWC, and she's like, I've got no control over this madness. We're talking about freaking dreams right now. What's happening?
I started it, so.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Maybe
since
that
we're
should
talking
be-
about it, I had a recurring dream for years, and I mean years, like my entire adolescence into teenageness. There was this recurring dream where I lived in my old neighborhood up in Buffalo, and it's like a house, but there's an apartment on the bottom floor and an apartment on the top floor. We lived in the top floor, and in my dream I would come down the stairs every day on my way to school, and I would look over at the door that leads to my neighbor, the downstairs guy's house, and he was a mad scientist, and he had this crazy machine. It looked like the machine out of the movie The Fly, right? Like that transporter thing that he had this big giant machine. He was always working on it. He always looked cranky and like it would stare at me like, "Argh." And so I would go to work or school rather, and when I would come home from school, and in the dream every time I came home from school there were fewer and fewer kids in the neighborhood, but there were more and more cats, these black cats, right? And so I was like, what the hell's up with all these cats? But I just keep going to and from school, and one day I come home and there's nobody on my block. It's just black cats with green foam coming out of their mouth, and they're all like chasing me. So I'm like running home, and I get into the door and I look at my neighbors, and he's like, the machine is there and the cats are trying to like lead me into the machine. The machine was turning everybody in the neighborhood into these cats with these demon green foam coming out of their mouth. And I was like, ah! And I would wake up, and it was my recurring dream for years. I don't like cats. I don't know if you get that.
Kind of
Yeah.
favorite her.
I don't like cats.
Wow.
They're up to
Would it help-
something.
What
Would
did
it
they
help if I
recommend?
told you I've never had a black cat?
No, they still exist. They're out there. Like, they're coming to get me. What? Weren't you listening?
One dream that
I really
had
shouldn't
that
drink.
I
It's not good.
made into a book, kind of. So I had a dream where I was part of like the A team, but we were.
Who were
on
you?
I don't remember, but we were on a spaceship, so we were
Okay,
like the A
Baracus.
team in space,
Okay.
and
I pity the fool.
our mechanic was a velociraptor. And
I had that dream.
our handler sold us out and sold our brainwave frequencies to the bad guy. And so they brainwashed our mechanic. So we're on this planet, and the velociraptor starts chasing us to eat us, and we have to run into the ship and try and close it and like figure out how do we unbrainwash our
Wow.
friend. So that spiraled when I started world building, and that became my YA sci-fi. That is not permanently shelved because that wouldn't happen until like book 3. So yeah.
I'm starting to see why I don't get ideas from my books. My dreams are like, I forgot that I had a math test. Still, I get that one all the time.
Oh,
My stress
absolutely.
dreams. It's like,
Did I
Yeah.
come to school bottomless again? This old one.
Maybe this should be a panel discussion that we have in the AuthorTube writing conference next year, using dreams to help us create our books.
yeah.
I did not expect Andy to know the reference to the A team, but he just said, I love it when a plan comes together.
So
I'm
good.
Googling the A team right now.
I just
So good.
Googling
It's really
the
weird because I have
Murdoch.
yes.
Who doesn't know the 18?
I'm
I'm young and overseas.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
So I have aphantasia. So when I'm awake, I don't see spit diddly in my brain. Like I don't get visuals.
You don't. Okay. You don't
But when
think visually.
I just hear myself narrating.
Mm.
Like I have an internal dialogue of what am I going to say before I say it, kind of thing. And then when I dream, it's like explosion of everything.
Right. This like creation and interpretation thing that happens at the same time. It's kind of bananas. See, I think in a combination of the two, but I think I lean more towards just hearing my thoughts, whereas I have to like visualize things on purpose. You know what I mean? Like my thoughts are not images, but I can make them so, you know? Yeah. It's weird how all our brains are so freaking different. Then again, I might have just drank a whole bottle of wine, so I don't know.
Do we have internal theme music? I am not Kronk. I have not made up my own theme music.
Did I freeze?
Nice. Yeah. My dreams don't make any sense. I was just trying to like read to see if I could get an example, but they just don't make sense. I mean, you remember a level of detail, Laura, that I write down to remember, but then when I read it back, I'm like, but how do I explain this?
Do you want to hear my craziest one that I remember?
Let's go.
My family and I were in the minivan that we had when I was very little. And so we were driving up a mountain and there were dinosaurs walking across the mountain. So it was really cool. And then there was an old couple bickering in the middle of the road, and there's like a we're on a cliff that we're driving along. And so we stop, and my dad, who's the driver, is talking to this old couple, and they're like, "Oh yeah, up over there, Bob Ross's sarcophagus. You should go check it out." So we start driving. I guess the dinosaurs are gone now. But we pull up to this little off-ramp thing, and we go up to this little awning thing, and there is Bob Ross's sarcophagus made out of mint dental floss. So it has been wrapped so many times that it has created an Egyptian sarcophagus for our beloved Bob Ross.
How'd you know it was mint?
It was green.
Green.
It was green. Yeah. And so my dad's like, let's camp here. So we pull out our sleeping bags, and my dad's like, Bob Ross can share my sleeping bag. So he's trying to shove the sarcophagus in the sleeping bag. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And then out of the bush comes a rotisserie chicken. Followed by 4 strips of crispy bacon. And they start chasing me.
I gotta go. This is enough for me.
So I'm being chased by a rotisserie chicken and bacon around the landing until finally we open the sarcophagus and get them inside and close it, and then I wake up. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
You know, maybe we should talk about the AuthorTube writing conference since we're almost done. This is, I don't know what's happening. I feel like Shannon's gonna yell at me.
I don't see her in the chat, so let's hope she doesn't watch the replay.
She's on
she'll find
Natalie's.
out. She has
Yeah, she's on Natalie's. So that
Margaret's here. She'll tell her.
Does it only go an hour? We went 2.5 on mine.
Yeah, the understood time frame is like an hour, but feel free to ad lib.
The understood time frame.
Because I read the email and it says go as long as you want, as long as it's over 15 minutes. So it's like,
right.
All right, well, since I have you guys, this is a murder mystery set in a sci-fi fantasy world. This one is the prequel.
Okay, I have a research question. Adrian's been muted.
Yeah, I did that. I was like, it was part of the bit.
How dare you?
What do you guys feel about connected short stories collections? Yes, no, never heard of them?
Those
I'm
are
working
cool.
on one.
I also have a little one, yeah. It was so fun to write.
What did you read that like indicated or that like opened that up to you? Because I didn't know about that until maybe a few years ago, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's really cool. Like, what did you pattern yours on, or like?
So if I could answer first, the reason I'm doing one at all is number one because I don't know how to write short stories. I only write these big giant epics that nobody wants to read. So I need to
That's
like
me.
force myself into writing smaller stories. That's number one. Number two, I want something to release in between big novels. So I would like to have little short story collections in between each big novel to keep people coming back, keep people interested. I'm going to set it in the same world, in the same universe. It's all going to be tied together in some way, but it just won't be a part of the main novel.
Okay.
So
Yours sounds like a whole overarching world.
right, yeah, it's a whole like shared universe type
Some
deal.
of them are tied by a theme. Yeah.
Like-
Did you have something, Nicole?
Yeah, the one that I did, I guess it was kind of more of like a novella in short, and it's all a family throughout 40 years, all at Christmas time. So that's kind of how they're interconnected with like a different member of the family and their own situation. And that only came about because like I wrote one and then I was like, I could just keep going with all these people, and so I wasn't sure even. It took me a while to actually figure out what I'd done. Because I hadn't heard the term like novella in short or anything like that, or connected short stories before. So I had to do some research to figure out like, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Nice.
So the connected short story collection that I am working on is called, well, it's all based off of different definitions of the word fall. So I have the first story that I have been writing is called Nightfall. So it's about a town that is plagued by collective sleep paralysis demons that show up at night. And great fun. And so each story is going to be based off of different definitions. So we've got Nightfall, we have like the fall of a city, we have a waterfall, we have a fall from grace, we have different things like that. We have fall of the season. So I'm doing it like that. But that one is going to be different because it's going to be mostly prose. But then the last 3 pages of each short will turn into a comic. So you'll have like the prose of the sleep paralysis demons, and then you'll actually have scare, final scare of the demons and stuff. So that's another thing that I'm working on.
That is genius.
I didn't know short stories could be so possible. I haven't done short story writing since high school.
Follow Bethany Vota. You'll learn all about short stories and flash fiction. She's the queen of telling short stories and flash fiction. This idea of like a scene being an entire story is foreign to me, but the way that she does it makes you like it just sucks you in immediately. You feel like you've known the characters for ages, and by the end of it, you're just like, what? You know, like amazing. Great
Half
stuff.
of my published stories are drabbles, so 100-word stories.
What?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah,
I've heard of 50-word stories.
Elaine Canyon.
Get out.
Chat is talking about 100-word stories also on her Instagram. Drabbles. Do you not watch Laura's channel or something? Adrian?
No, there's so many channels. There's a lot of stuff to watch.
Let me find.
I don't watch my own stuff.
How creepy can we go on this channel? I've got 2 drabbles I can read.
Go as creepy as you like.
Okay, this one's called Brainwaves. So this was in Black Moments by Black Hair Press in September. The theme for the collection was zombies. So mine is, months after Z-Day, scientists finally discovered the zombies were hunting us by tracking our brainwaves, higher brain function specifically. Coma patients and people in deep sleep remained unnoticed by those who had risen from the dead. There had to be a way to harness that, tweak it, adapt. Ice pick in hand, I tapped into the eye sockets of my captives, my patients, trying different positions, angles, and depths with each. The undead ignored my experiments when released, but the patients were more vegetative than living. Inhuman screams arose outside. One more chance. I placed the ice pick to my own eye. Tap. So that's one.
Amy!
So that's one, she says.
That's one.
Excuse me, that's the one. You can stop right there. No,
I
please
really
go on.
like my other one called Spiderweb. This one was in Cosmos by Ghost Orchid Press. And it says, a tiny piece of asteroid nicks the visor on my space helmet as I begin repairs to the outside of my ship, floating in the void. A spider web of terror cracks into existence over my left eye. The air hisses as the high-pitched scream as it slowly oozes into the vacuum of space, taking my body heat with it. My erratic breathing puffs and clouds, fogging my helmet. Its fractals coalesce, blocking out the distant light of stars. My eyes crystallize, daggers of ice delving into my retinas, blinding me. Oxygen depletes. My fingers lose their strength, setting me adrift. I am debris. So,
You
Travel-
finished those stories so powerfully.
I
Yeah.
love 100-word ones. They're so fun.
You finished them so powerfully. It's crazy.
This is why I don't read horror. You just messed me up. Now I gotta go to sleep soon. Like, what are you doing to me?
I
That was
did
awesome.
write a rom-com
was
flash
awesome.
fiction once.
Was it super scary?
No.
Was it a rom-com or was it an erotica-com?
It was a rom-com.
Gosh, scary rom-com. I'm just thinking like some kind of. Who here has seen the Last of Us TV series?
Of course.
Some of it, yeah.
I feel like a couple of you guys would know what I mean when I reference that kiss.
Oh, ew. Me no like it. I did not like that kiss. That was not a good kiss.
The rom-com,
That
yeah.
is not a rom. That is not a horror rom com. That's just horror, and it's not okay. All right, I gotta get going soon.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to finish the close out the chaos.
Wind down.
Just on the host's ends as well, because it's going to be a busy afternoon. Yeah. I assume the rest of you guys are probably getting ready to go to sleep, right?
Sleep is for mortals.
It's almost dinner time for me.
I'm gonna play some Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Need to edit a podcast episode.
All right. We got good hours ahead of us, no matter what we're doing.
It's only 9 at night.
Yeah. Anybody want to close this out with anything?
I mean,
I
everybody should do their outro. Yeah.
am debris.
Oh,
Love that.
yeah. That was dope. Me, buy my books. Just do it. They're available however you like them. Just get them. Hardback coming next year. Audiobook in the works. I don't know. Get it. It's awesome. Tuber Book Club on Tuesday. They're going to talk about it. They're going to interview me. It's going to be great. Somebody else talk.
Or Wednesday if you're closer to my time.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I have
If you're
no
on the
idea.
other side of the planet, yeah.
I
sure.
have no idea how many people from New Zealand and Australia subscribe to my channel because I only know my closest friends and I sadly don't see any of them here. I'm going to talk to them about that.
I gotta figure that most New Zealanders are hanging out in Hobbiton and stuff. Like they're not like actually on YouTube.
You
know
have
what
to
I mean?
pay to get into Hobbiton.
I mean, but if you work there though, like I lived in Orlando and we all worked at Disney, and like you don't pay to get into Disney when you work for Disney. You know what I'm saying?
If you want to rig the system, get every sheep in New Zealand to get an account. And then they can all-
Bad
Oh,
sheep.
All right. Nicole, do you have any closing words?
Just thank you so much for hosting. That was And yeah, my channel is Nicole Wilbur. Come over and say hi.
Awesome.
Nice. And Laura.
I'm Laura Nettles. I have a book of horror collections, including the 2 I just read. There's also a 1980s Lovecraft LARP that goes very, very wrong in here. So that is fun, called Tentacles and Boomboxes. It was in Lovecraftiana earlier this year.
Right.
Yeah, so it's on Amazon, signed versions on my Ko-fi, and I will be around. Can't get rid of me.
Nice. Well, I gotta thank all of my guests for coming in onto this after party stream. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, chat, for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy the final day of the AuthorTube Writing Conference tomorrow. I'm going to be catching up on those videos from the weekend throughout the week. Give some reviews. Start a petition to start a review of the after party and give this after party 5 stars. And
7 stars.
yeah, and
There's
like
no
video.
such thing.
All right, and from me, like this video, subscribe. Next month, this baby turns 2 years old, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos-based celebrations surrounding that on my channel. I'll be announcing details for that shortly. Stay chaotic, and just have fun. Good time zone, everybody. Bye.
I love it.